Du, 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 du. Hello. Welcome to Weird and Woo Woo. Let's just make sure this is nice and close. Where I'm weird and we all get a little woo woo. Okay, fantastic. I know it's later in the day. I usually get peeps on when it's like um early in the morning or later in the afternoon. I don't know what's going on here. Sorry. But needless to say, yay is what it is. Alrighty. Hey, how are you? Okay, so we're doing a weekly check-in. Okay. Um, I angled the camera a little. I guess I could lower it. I don't freaking know. Oh, there we go. There we go. It might chop off the top of my head, but that's okay. Alrighty. So let's do this. Okay. I'll just say that the weather here has gotten to where it's that really fall foggy, like that fog where the leaves are really, really starting to drop from the trees. They're really starting to drop. I am hanging in there, guys. I'm hanging in there. What is oh, it's doing that opposite thing again. Okay, whatever. Um, it's feeling good. I was watching out the window this morning and like just the leaves are like kind of like the what are those little things? The dandelion, like when they go to seed, the little white puffs, like they're just like everywhere. It seems magical and a little witchy. A little witchy. I don't know if this is. Tell me if this gets too loud, too reverb, too whatever. I am a loud person. You might want to lower your volume but it does better when it's closer to my mouth. It's weird. I usually keep it out of frame, but what else? Okay. Um, I can feel the barometric pressure change. Like I always get it in my head. I hate it. Hate that feeling. But we are finally entering into the later half of fall where winter is felt and seen. So, alrighty. I don't know where we're gonna start. It feels like tarot for sure. Tarot cards. We're gonna do new era elements. We're starting with new era elements. All right. Good. It tried to jump the fuck out. It said, like it was like this, and it said, oof. So it was facing up because like the rest of these cards. And look what Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Pentacles. Okay. That sounds like some goodness. Okay. Wheel of Fortune, Ace of Pentacles, both trying to make an appearance like from the get-go. All right. All right. See, what is going on? I do not generally have difficulty with this deck. It really wants to talk. It's like, out of my way, bitch. I got something to say. Oh, by the way, you are a sovereign being over your life. You get to determine if, how, when, where, why any of these messages might apply. So my recommendation to you is to never Cinderella shit to make it fit. Forgot my little spiel. All right, one more time. Oh, Ace of Swords. Okay, so we got several aces. Okay, I'm being drawn to tap into or highlight whatever. So there was a discussion that I had. You're going to hear this a lot with my cousin because I tend to process with her a lot about seemingly something got derailed like in May as far as the timeline goes, and then like picking up because I have noticed a series of events that should have happened April, Mayish, and then everything that felt like should have happened during the summer didn't. And some of you, there's a lot going on for a lot of people from the beginning of June all the way through Leo season, right? And they kept hitting that home for me. But I know that there was a distinct group within that something got derailed, like somebody's timeline got shifted temporarily and is now coming back. Um, and there's certain events that are happening now that we had planned or thought would happen in May, and it didn't. And I was like, oh my gosh, things are picking up right where they left off. Because she and I had a whole conversation about things that felt like beyond like they felt like things that had been discussed, like there was so much um that it was almost certain that certain events were going to transpire, and then they didn't. And it seemingly hinges around, I will be honest with you, in our thing, it seemed like it hinges around travel. There's a travel that was supposed to happen that didn't, and then subsequent events that we had planned all kind of got derailed. Not even thinking remotely that that change in plans was going to act like a cascade. So that tells me, and then unknowingly, we just went ahead and replanned a bit of something. Um, and it was like it aligned with other things that anyways, so the gist of what I'm trying to say is some of y'all may have had something happen late April, in May, where there was a decision that you made and you felt like it was a no biggie, right? Wouldn't be problematic. Couldn't see how it would filter into so many other things. Um, but then suddenly, like things that you thought were going to happen didn't, or things that were planned didn't happen, and it was like, what is going on? Like, there was a period of time where it felt like things got really quiet, spiritually speaking, meaning like I could pick up and read for other people, but just like it was also during that time where I would do a lot of the readings and then didn't upload them. Like I have probably a good 20, 22 readings. I have issues. And so yeah, it just feels like stuff just kind of went at least for me, like specifically for me. I specifically was not getting certain answers to certain things, just personally with my spiritual team, and like tapping into my own intuition. So they're bringing me to that little discovery that we had, and it was like, oh, I did not realize how important that was supposed to. I feel like it was the domino that kicked things off, which we've read a lot all over 2025. Location change, or like environmental changes, or trips, or anything else like that where it gets you out of your normal zone. But like I'll just tell you, the other events that were supposed to happen were also travel, and it was like something just derailed everything. Um and it's almost as if that event needed to happen before any of the others, because I was like, that's the only way I can come to this conclusion that it was that important, why it would derail everything else. There was something meant to happen with that one particular thing that then would subsequently be, it was necessary to carry the energy or an event of into the other things. And so it was almost like everything got derailed, because June is also when my son got rhabdo. He was in the hospital for, it was one of those things where it's like, and I'm not saying spirit. Um, I was like, well, let's just injure her child. That's not what I'm saying. But spirit's an opportunist, okay? And his dad and I couldn't figure out what was going on in regards to like why he couldn't get back to his normal routine. And like they kept dragging it out. And it was literally 7 weeks of curtailing things, not being able to do certain things. Some of the stuff that we wanted to do was these big national park hikes and stuff like that. My son couldn't do it. So I couldn't go with him and do these things because he wasn't allowed that level of exercise, and at the end of it, that his doctor was like, "Oh, you should have just done it anyways," because there was somebody else weighing in, and of course when doctors disagree, one can't just come and say, "Don't listen." You know what I mean? But after the fact, we were like, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" So it was like they took that opportunity and was like, "Oh, well, we'll just make sure she doesn't go anywhere this summer." So when I say that, like, there's more to it, and obviously I'm trying not to divulge all kinds of information. I'm trying to give you the bare bones gist of shit. And ooh, it got a little dark. Well, it's nice and moody. So what I'm just trying to say is there was something, and it had very much to do with my family. And you all know that I have like a ton of illnesses going on. It's getting to the point where me and my cousin, like me and the cousins, right? Me, my siblings, and the cousins are going to be the ones left. Like they're like everybody above us is knocking on somebody's door. Okay. And so there is this like trip planned to go and meet with family and kind of like just, um, I try not to sound morbid. So basically, my little one had said, I want to go see so and so before she's not like, we were riding to school, not talking about nothing. And out of nowhere, he goes, Hey, mom, I want to go see and so and so. And I was like, Yeah, you do. And like, he hadn't mentioned her in months. And he goes, Yeah, I want to see her before she's gone. Me and my 16-year-old are looking at each other like, and when this is my little one, when he says something, like if he mentions somebody out of the blue, out of nowhere, we always know something's up. I don't know. This child is so tapped in, and we're trying to keep him tapped in so that he doesn't lose that. So I had talked to my cousin and I was like, Hey, and like this slew of events that happened with my family member after that was just astronomical. And so, anyways, we decided we need to honor that because I had made the promise to him that he could go see his family before something happens. And we are definitely seeing this go a particular direction, and we want to make sure that that we honored that basically. There are other things that we have been discussing, other things that kind of seem similar to the summer. So it's one of those things where we're like, oh, we're back at square one. We're back at where we should have. And I didn't realize it was as big of a deal at that time, um, to not go. And so, and again, I am trying to avoid mentioning so many other things just out of being, nice to my family, not giving every little piece of information out to the internet. But I feel like they're bringing me to that because it has something to do with right now. So there's a group within the collective that I was reading for over the summer, that a series of events did not occur how they were supposed to occur because some level of igniting event, initiator, initial domino didn't fucking happen. Does that make sense? And so now, because of that, that event is like coming back around. Y'all, it was okay. It's gonna be moody. All right. We're just gonna be moody because you could see me earlier. Alrighty. So I'm glad I said that because, and I was not the only one. Like she and I were like, what? We realized it at the same time. And so I am at the place, so I'm like, am I sure that I can do this? Am I sure? Because there's so many things happening. It's also close to the holidays. I'm like, am I sure I can make this happen? And I just know, like, deep, there's a seed deep within. It's like, you must. And so I have to do it one way or the other. And so we've been trying to scrounge around to figure out how to make sure it happens. Anyways, yeah, so something similar is happening. There was an event that should have happened, could have had something to do with any level of travel or getting out of a particular environment for a period of time, just removing you from the current energy of where you're at, just for something to download. People do this all the time. They travel, they go places, even if it's just an hour away, because there's energy in the places that we visit. And so it's almost like it gives you something. It's, some people call them vortexes, some people call them portals, like you download codes. Like there's a million different ways that people um, term it within the spiritual community, but we get something from the land. It does something to us, and it's very location specific. And so that's where I feel like that's what it's supposed, like that's what's happening. So we do in the United States have some holidays coming up. that may be right? A kicker for some of you where it's your opportunity, but it does feel like it's by December. There's a short window, so something's going to revisit. I would say within November. That was supposed to be the igniter to a series of events before. And so even if you feel or intellectually, we won't say feel, intellectually you're like, I don't know, you need to do it because you'll feel it in your gut like, I gotta find a way. Okay. And I think this time you will feel so compelled to do it, you won't back out. So just kind of like, okay, now we can get started. What did I what did I say? Hello. Okay, so this is the Hanged Man. So something's been on pause. Um, this is the ending and new beginning. It's the Death card. So something, you know what? We had that reading of the gateway, of the gate. Like the gate is going to be closed if you don't hurry up and walk through it. And I kept saying there's something with timing and like time is of the essence. And it kind of feels like that. Like the gate has been open, but you haven't been able to walk through it just yet. Because the death is like something coming to an end and something immediately beginning. The end is the beginning. The beginning always marks an end. Um, so most certainly, and I feel as if like that's what was supposed to happen. There's some like initiator event with the death card. And because as a result, there's been a level of disappointment experienced that should not have been experienced, but was. I love the way they depict this. There's no water. Now, if you pull the Ten of Cups from this deck, it's a stream full of water. It's replenished. Okay. So this is dry. It's dry. So things should have happened that didn't get to happen. Okay. I did not anticipate that being the conversation when we got in here. Um, you've been in limbo. Four of Cups is the I'm staring at the three cups before me, dissatisfied. The cups represents your community, your current circumstances, your surrounding, that which is your network, your social. That's what those that you're surrounded with, your surroundings, period. Your current state. So you're looking at the three of cups like, I don't want any of this. There's a proverbial cup coming from the sky. Apathy took you from a place of taking that cup, of taking that opportunity before. And so they're asking that you make sure you're the Hierophant. This is okay. Look, Marvel has a term that they use in Spider-Man. It's called a canon event. The idea is that it's an event that happens in your life that kind of like sets up the rest of your life, so to speak. So in Spider-Man, it's his uncle passing. Some people would have thought that it would have been his parents passing, but it was actually when his uncle was shot. That was a canon event that turned him into the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man who fought crime. He could have taken it the other direction, which he almost did, where he allowed it to corrupt. It could have corrupted him and made him vengeful and things like that. So that's the idea of this. Uh, it's a very major event. This death, this death. It's the canon event that sets everything else off. Without his uncle dying, he probably wouldn't have became who he became, Spider-Man. Okay. At the bottom we do have. They want me to take it. There's that Ace of Pentacles we saw earlier. Eight of Wands is the level of swiftness that something unfolds after this event. So we'll call it the canon event, okay? Instead of just the initiator, because it seems as if it's like without this, the others don't follow suit, which again is what we described. The way things would unfold, this needs to happen in order for things to unfold as they're supposed to. The canon event's going to bring you in alignment with something, but you have to be ready for it. There's this Empress card. Um, Underneath the Four of Cups. So it's almost like being willing to take that proverbial cup, right? Being willing to take that opportunity. There, your state of allowance. That's what it is. Thank you. I was like, where are we going with this? She receives because she's in the state of allowance. She allows herself. She allows things to be what they are. She doesn't resist, if that makes sense. Okay. Then we have the Two of Cups, the seahorses. Um, I definitely feel like something in alignment. Uh, the coming together of something. So this event seems like it's going to bring something together. And then we have the Devil card. Now, I have this under, for whatever reason, I'm putting it like this. It goes the Five of Cups, then the Eight of Wands to the Devil. So it almost seems like a Sahara Desert for the Five of Cups. Like something is very unpleasant things, stagnation, nothing moving forward. There's a story that came out in the United States. There's a dam that was removed, and for the very first time in multiple decades, like 4 decades, salmon was be able to salmon, which swims upstream in order to procreate and do all of that stuff. It went upstream further than it's ever been before, replenish the waterways and everything else like that. There's like it was there was a dam. There was nothing coming through. Is the way that I'm getting it. Um, and so once this canon event happens, things move fast, and for some reason I want to say you seemingly are able to release yourself from any kind of shackles. It's really easy to release yourself from some pattern, something you felt trapped in. Okay, I don't want. Okay, thank you. We're gonna go with Starman Tarot. This is very bum, dum, dum, dum. Anytime it's like this, I'm always like, that's directly source. Like, that it's almost as if there's no emotion. It's just very matter of fact. This is this, ba ba ba, dee dee dee. When you have your spiritual team involved, there's flavor to it, and there's you start. I start tapping into the energies of the people that I'm reading for, and how. But when it's a very objective, which is what source energy feels like, very objective, non-emotional, non-intellectual, just matter of fact kind of energy. That's what's coming through for today's reading. That's the reason why I probably sound like I'm in like bum 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 bum. With just moving from one thing to the next. Because sometimes it's exceptionally important for me to be able to tap into someone's energy and the energy of the environment of something that's occurring, so I can describe it and put words to it and like help somebody maneuver through it and help it to make sense to you. But this is one of those things where this is just very clear cut, black and white. Da 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 da. Um, it's like unconcerning of where you are at emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They're just like, this is this. That's what I want to say. Hope everybody's doing good. Tiny hands, sorry. Tiny little hands. Somebody's been like battling it out in their mind. Take a look at this one. It's a Five of Swords. But this is like the shadow aspect of somebody. And look at how they're just, every sword is going towards them. This is not somebody separate from you. This is because his arm is blood red. And then it's like this energy is coming from his solar. And all the swords are just like uh someone's shadow. Hold on. Then we have the Page of Wands. Mm, this is like intuition, passion, inspiration, um, instinct. I feel as if somebody's been fighting something within themselves, um, and things are going to turn to like I feel like it switches to instinct. Although I'm going to say like this wand again. Now there were 8 wands, utterly changing things very quickly. It's breaking through. I don't know if you can see it. It's a golden egg. The egg is always a new beginning. Once it's cracked, it has begun, and it is something about a wand. We're going to clarify that. All right. Um, all 4 of these fucking cards are playing into the same thing. We also at the bottom of the deck have the 10 of swords, and I'll tell you how it plays into this in just a second. Knight of Swords is the proverbial pivot. It is the cutting of ties with what was to what will be. Okay, it is the utter, total, complete change. A very swift, quick pivot. Right? It's the 180 card. Um, on it, it says victory, no rules, things like that. He's beat up, he's bruised, he's carved in, right? But look at this. The sword is down, which means he's not listening to his pragmatic, intellectual, uh, egoic mind. He's extending his arm to receive the message from spirit. So that's why I said like this feels very instinctual. Like for masculine energy, I usually get instinct when somebody's either acting from a more, and this is Page of Wands, very more primal energy. But also, I find um, when they give me instinct, a lot of times instead of intuition, it feels more of a masculine energy would align with that terminology. So there's probably a reason why they're giving that because it feels more like a guttural response, knowing pull, and that's the reason why here it's connected to the solar. So there's a level of, and look at this, we have the dynamite down here, and this is an irrevocable change kind of thing. Like from this point forward, and again, that's where that canon event. From this point forward, this is how a person operates. I feel as if this mental battle begins to take a back seat to someone's intuition and primal guttural instincts and knowing. Because here we have the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands it is the card of the sacral. It is your willpower, your drive, your motivation, your confidence, your truth, your power. Okay. It is all about the self. So instinct is driving, doing what you know to be true for you. And then here's the thing. Ooh, that card came out with it. I'll tell you. The reason I said that this plays into it, much like the Five of Swords, where you see battling the shadow self, and it's somehow like we never get rid of our shadow. How about we call this our toxic intellect? Um, you see how it's pulling away? It's somehow no longer integrated, it's separate. Um, Same thing happens here. Here you see the corpse, I guess you could say, of the old self and the new self, both stemming from the same core, both a part of the exact same source, soul, whatever you want to call it. But it's like there's a splitting, a dividing off. There's a splitting of these two. And I think that there's a leaving of the old self. Uh, but Ten of Swords is the end of a terrible time, beginning of truth, clarity, understanding, and a clear path, right? So it's a new start. I pull this out. I pulled out the Ten of Swords and the damn Two of Cups again. So in both decks, we have a Two of Cups coming out. I think the canon event, again, remember, same as like with Spider-Man, he had a moment to choose. As soon as this event happened, it was going to shape who he became. Period. Irregardless of which direction he chose to go. So this canon event is the idea of I can become compassionate and show grace and be virtuous, or I can operate from vengeance and um, anger, and you know what I mean. Like it either could feed his soul and he could transmute it, or it could corrupt him. That was the idea of it. It could have gone either way. Um, and so there's something about this event that I think separates somebody from their old self, encourages them to have a 180 change and to operate from a very positive, instinctual, knowing truth of who they are, rather than this incessant, perpetual mind battle. So and somehow in both situations, this it opens somebody up to being in the state of allowance for something that is in alignment or meant for you to come in. Could be a person, could be a situation, could be a life path, all of that. Okay. Sometimes it's easier to have, like, when it's not so when the energy's like that, because I love it when there's more personality in something, because I feel like, but it's a very heavy. Here we go. Sun. Tell me more. Are you serious? They just gave me grease. Like, tell me more, tell me more. Oh, that song goes, was it love at first sight? I'm not saying that. They were just singing the tell me more, but um, so it feels as if something was okay. That may have been the reason why. A lot of the readings that I haven't posted had something to do with Leo season, by the end of Leo season. Both of these cards, the Strength card and the Sun card, indicate Leo. Okay. A Leo energy, Leo season energy. I think that what was supposed to happen so that a change would happen by Leo season was the canon event. It didn't happen. And so now it's happening again. So whatever was meant to happen in Leo season is happening now. There's also this canon event, whatever it may be. See, it allows them to conquer the mental anguish and battle that they were going through. I feel like even if we were to take this isn't the shadow, this isn't whatever, there is a battle within you, and it's almost as if it was like killing me softly with his words, killing me softly with his, like you were eroding away at yourself. But that beast is tamed. You became friends with it. So something happens that puts you in alignment with something that allows you to see the more positive, either aspects of self or to just view the world, hanged man, to view everything more positively, optimistically. And it's almost as if it's like you become friends with the what is it? Rihanna's song with Eminem. I became friends with the monsters under my bed. They're just giving me all kinds of lyrics right now. Okay. For those of you, if it is a person, it feels like they're not afraid of your shadow and they don't see whatever you may have viewed as a monster under your bed. They don't look at it like that. I'm getting like they look at it with very kind eyes. It's giving Beauty and the Beast. There's an aspect of somebody that they had a lot of trouble with. Um, and as a result, we're constantly battling it out in their own mind, trying to quote unquote kill that aspect of themselves. When in reality, I feel like this person sees nothing wrong. They normalize this part of who you are. The low hanging fruit for me would be like neurodivergence, right? Like some people feel like that's their nemesis, the monkey on their back, so to speak. Um, and they feel like they're constantly battling it until somebody shows you it's not a deterrence. It's not, I don't know how to explain it, but like it's one thing to be in a relationship with somebody who one's neurodivergent, the other one's not. It really can create issues. But like you bring two neurodivergents together and it's like, woo, like you know what I mean? Like they see all the beauty of everything. Um, that's a personal experience. So that's the reason why I know how to use that as an example. But it's like a mirror. See how they're facing each other? It's like a mirror. There's something about this feminine being able to tame both aspects. Okay. Something's very normalized, seen. Like maybe all this part of you just needed to be seen. Um, because it feels like there's a lot of self-inflicted wounds, a lot of like clawing at oneself. Um, like it's an aspect of you that always feels like it's like a ticking time. You know what I mean? Like it's just a matter of time before it rears its ugly head. Maybe this is an aspect you feel like consistently takes over. And that's where this into a difficult situation with the 10 of swords comes into play, where it's like this severing of, because take a look at this, like the old self versus the new self. Like you see how they're touching like fingers to one another. Let me get closer so you can see the picture on this. Okay, you see this? You see this? This one has a sword going through his heart. This one is like an electrical pulse, like coming to life. And so, like, it's a completely different life that can be lived when you're not constantly battling yourself or trying to change an aspect of yourself or remove that aspect of yourself. Like you come to embrace it. And it's almost like when it gets seen and embraced, it quiets. Strength. I don't know who did this. Starman, magician, chariot. funny. They're talking about everything surrounding the canon event, but not the I mean, I'm making an assumption that they're not talking about the canon event. The canon event could be suddenly being visible to somebody, like being seen and accepted. Like that would yeah, maybe. It's like not feeling abnormal. So maybe this is a situation where you're meant to cross paths with somebody that almost mirrors something back to you and can see, acknowledge, witness something so effortlessly within you that almost like calms that mental battle that you've been going through. And frequently they've been talking, you've got to get away from where you're at because that's not where they are. And so it's like, in order for this to happen, so that canon event very well could be crossing a path with somebody that gives you that shift, that complete utter change that allows you to see that that what you thought was true, the sword, is not true. It's pointed down. Whatever you held to be true, and it helps you to make a 180 pivot within oneself. And then the idea that we have the magician with the chariot, it's like there's once that happens, being able to make things happen in your life. Chariot is things in alignment. Again, we talked about that in alignment. It is moving forward, it is victorious. It's like you suddenly become victorious in creating and manifesting the life that you want. No indication if this person stays or if it's just like a meeting, but there's something of a crossing of paths that seems to reignite you. It's like it gives allegiance more to the primal part of you, to that very instinctual, guttural sense of self, right? Not up here, but the sense of self. And so it's like that's what starts this a golden opportunity. It's a golden opportunity. Okay. Tell me more about the Starman and the Chariot. Where are we at? 43 minutes. Okay. Starman and the Chariot. Okie doke. Ooh. I fucking love it. I love it. Let me show you. Let me show you what you're moving away from, what you're pivoting away from. We have the devil, which we've seen already. We have the eight of swords, something that keeps you, you keep this person just, there's a person that will see you. They either they witness it, but they speak to it as well. I feel like somebody feels seen, but they're able to put something into words that almost, I want to say, like flabbergasted. Because we have the five of pentacles with the devil with the eight of swords. But this whole situation calls judgment on that. Ugh. Hope you get sober. Um, judgment. Judgment. Why judgment though? You're calling judgment on all these things. I think it's a willingness to receive this. I feel like judgment is the visibility, is someone seeing you, calling you out, or reflecting back to you, mirroring back to you who you really are, articulating that, because we do have the Page of Swords, which is like communication, information. There's some kind of like, and then we have with it justice. Are you going to receive whatever this person reflects back to you? And I think they're keeping it very vague because for some, this could be somebody who sticks around in your life. Others, this can be, it's what you do with the canon event. The canon event is meeting this person. It is having this reflected back to you. And is somebody seeing something within you that you try to hide so very much from the rest of the world, and you try to battle it out and like fix or get rid of or whatever it is. And it's like it is this shtick that keeps you stagnant, which is the reason why it needed to happen before any of the other events that you knew should have happened for you. You see what I'm saying? It's like because with it being like you have to pick a particular path. Same with Spider-Man. He would not have become Spider-Man and one of the most beloved superheroes of all time if he went the path of anger, vengeance, um, retribution, things like that. It wasn't just the canon event; it's what he did. It was the judgment card. What you do with this canon event, how you allow it to um, open you up. If you stay in that Empress energy and are willing to, you're in the allowance, you're willing to receive what is being reflected back to you. So the vagueness is like, could this be a potential partner? Absolutely. Could it be anybody else that should that it's like they shine a light on a very dark spot, but with the most caring, remember, and kind sense of reverence for it, like it's something beautiful. They don't see it as something like you do. It's again heart and mind with the scales. But if you're open to this, if you allow this to balance things out for you, if you allow this in, that is where the change and the shift happens for you. The devil card that came out with the Eight of Wands, you were able to release yourself from that part of you. This could even be someone who is difficult and hard on themselves because of their physicality, of the way that they look, of any of those things, right? And then you come across somebody who the thing that you you don't want someone to see, or I don't know, like the thing that you maybe the stickler is the thing that they compliment and they're like, "Oh my god, that's like the most amazing." And it's not even because it's not a very shallow compliment. They see something and they bring a light to it and it's very unnerving, but it almost seemingly shatters something because when you let it get to you, when it hits the right spot, when it hits that heart and the sincerity of how they see you, and it's like you become less judgmental of yourself. There we go, judgment of yourself for that aspect, and less less set on trying to incessantly battle with it to get rid of it. And bringing peace to that part of you and allowing that part of you to be seen is what gets you into a very well-rounded, open, um, magical space that allows for your manifestations to develop. So all those things that you had planned after this canon event, this thing that's coming back around, this opportunity that you may not even realize until after the fact, like, oh, I was going to do that before. Because it feels like something that you should have said yes to before, or should have allowed yourself, again, has something to do with your environment, has something to do with the location you should have done before and you didn't. And it's like it's going to come back around and you do it. And in that space, there is a canon event, and you walk away from it differently, and all those things that you had planned, all the things that you thought were supposed to happen can happen now. There's a sense of it takes away your defenses, and it stops this internal battle. You must have been doing this for quite some time, and it may have been the thing that kept you from whatever you were battling internally, kept you in a state of lack, so things weren't coming to you. It kept you prevented you from attempting or moving forward on something. The Eight of Swords is that self-imposed entrapment, and look, there's a little miniature version of it, and it's like I don't know if it has anything to do with your inner child. It's like, and then the devil. So you allowed yourself to remain tethered and limited because of this. It prevented you from moving forward or doing certain things or engaging in certain things in a way that you needed to. And so and it's almost as if like whatever after this canon event, all those things that you thought were going to happen, even if they had shown up, because this canon event didn't happen, you would have felt the Eight of Swords. You would have been like, there have been a bit of resistance, a bit of like, "Oh, I don't know." Like you wouldn't have, it still wouldn't have been successful. And so the only real way for this to be successful and to happen the way that it's supposed to happen is for this one event to occur. And it is a vulnerable situation, um, but it's not a negative one. Could you imagine walking around and feeling so self-conscious about the way that you look? This is just another example, and always constantly trying to either hide certain aspects or something, and then um, think of all the opportunities that you missed out on. And let's say you go somewhere and somebody's like, you overhear you talking and like, oh my God, I need to introduce you to so and so. You are perfect for this podcast. And you're just like, and all you can think, you know what I mean? And it's like, you're amazing. You're so beautiful. Like, this is exactly what we need. Like, you're vibrant and because you were not paying it. You thought you were hidden. You thought you were hidden. You weren't paying attention to who was actually listening. You were in the moment. And so your true self came out. But a lot of times in many of the situations and circumstances that you have, you don't let that part of you come out. If you're masculine, I feel like you frequently do not let your there's a lot with your instinctual aspects, your primal aspects that don't align with the pragmatic, logical, earthy, cut and dry ways of there's just something that it's like if you were really to act from your instinct, um, it would take most certainly take you in different directions, beautiful directions, but you've held yourself back because it's like a brrrr in the mind, like an unsettled, never-ending argument or analysis and self-critical aspect that applies to everybody. And so it's kept you back from some things. But there's instead of something negative to break this open, something sweet, beautiful, tender, gracious is going to happen where it takes you by surprise and you accidentally let it in and it just starts to change things for you. Again, it could be the mere meeting and what this person presents to you when you come across their path, or it could be somebody that actually sticks around where it's like you accidentally let them in and it starts to shine. There's a different light within you. But it definitely puts you in a more connected, the magician's very connected and successful energy. That's oh, confirmation. So 234 on the clock. 234. Okay, so you some of you are going to know right away when this presents itself again, and others are going to be like, when you're in the midst of doing it, you're like, oh yeah, I was going to do this before, kind of thing. And again, it's not where you're at. I do think your environment plays a major factor. It doesn't have to be this massive a long distance thing, but it is out of your normal haunts. And it is, again, something that you didn't do before and you're going to do now. Um, and it seems like you feel pretty drawn to do it. So it's almost certain that you're going to. Um, and there's a canon event wrapped up in that for you. So, alrighty. Well, that's that. I hope the message has found everybody that it's meant for. I hope everybody has a fantastic and wonderful day. And I will see you later this week at another read. Okay. Have a great day, everybody.